So sometimes I look at my kill videos, even from this expansion early on, and can see improvements that I've made over the course of the expansion. Look at first kills of bosses, even in HFC, and again see improvements that have been made as I now farm those bosses. Now, nobody would ever doubt that we should always look to improve our performance, even on farm, individually. So why is it that relatively few guilds do so collectively? Don't just look at individual improvements, but also how you can improve tactics to take effect of the different nature of the fight, now that everyone is comfortable with it and you're able to push DPS at crucial parts even faster. Every time there's a new patch, as we've had recently, where people have had buffs, and of course we've had a massive item level boost, but even just as you gear up naturally and people become more comfortable with the fight, the nature of the fight itself changes, and that might necessitate a change in tactics. If you look for small gains, these can often add up to be pretty big gains. For example, when you could first push Iron Reaver so that it died before the air phase, then you cut down the length of the fight significantly. So if this happened with your guild, did it just happen naturally as you got better gear? Did you just one day, oh, we've killed it before it went up in the air? Or did the final push come as a result of people consciously changing their use of cooldowns to make it happen, actually going, right, we're going to try and one phase it, everyone change the way you do it to maximise DPS within that 2-minute window? If it just happened organically, then arguably you could have actually been doing this for some time before, for some weeks before, had you actually consciously pushed it. Iscar's another example, making a concerted effort to push the phantasmal resonance in the phases when you can do this means that you can kill it before the chains are cast. That means you don't have to deal with the most awkward mechanic in the fight. It's also worth reviewing tactics, not just during progress, but on farm. The faster you kill the bosses, the more time you get on progress. If you've already cleared, then the faster that clear takes place. And it's good for morale for players who want to chase ranks. Remember, ranks are very, very heavily influenced in most cases by the duration of the fight, especially for DPS. I mean, we look here, for example, just the change in the amount of time it takes. This week on Iron Reaver. Last week we actually did really well. We killed it in just over a minute. So it was halfway through its blitz. And everyone obviously got really good percentiles from that as a result. This week I thought to myself, I'm going to change something still further. If we can kill it in round about a minute, I'm going to assume we're going to kill it in a minute. And I'm going to set up the way I do that fight to maximise my DPS for 1 minute. So if it takes longer than a minute, I'm going to lose out. So we did this. Unfortunately, we had different people this week, so it actually took place quite a bit after a minute. It took about 1.5 minutes, which meant that my damage was much lower. But if we look at the percentiles and see what it would have been after the minute, if we had killed it on the minute mark, actually very, very high, much higher than it was last week. So just goes to show you, overall kill time is massive, massive factor. As much as what you do, at least, when it comes to those sort of things. And remember, there are players, quite reasonably, who during farm want to actually chase those ranks. Changing the way you do the boss will help you push, and can help you push a great deal. Fell Lord, another example. Obviously, if you don't send in people to soak, then that means you can kill it a lot quicker. But, oh my god, if we don't send in people to soak, we'll end up in a right old mess, won't we? Well, it depends, doesn't it? If not sending people into soak means that you can kill the boss really, really quickly before you've got lots of wakes causing massive carnage, then in actual fact, no. So it's always a bit of a call-up. And you have to bear in mind, you mustn't be worried as well. Sometimes when you try something out, you're not 100% sure the guild can actually make enough time out of it to make it worthwhile. Just try it. Maybe you'll wipe. Doesn't matter. At least you know then, or you know how close you are. Maybe you're not quite close enough then, but in a couple of weeks you will be close enough. Keep reviewing it, because in the long term, faster clears are a lot more fun for most people, I think. And also, in some cases, it might mean you chopping a day off the clear, or how long it takes to clear. Just remember, of course, it is a game, so we need to have fun.
What? Because 4 people are dead.
4 people, yeah, 4 people. Yeah, and the rest of them are all.
25% of the damage.
Oh my
Take
god.
a couple more. Oh.
You just walked out of the fucking goal.
Did you just laugh at them?
I was too busy taking piss. But there is such a thing as having too much fun. I actually felt a bit bad about that, especially when we wiped and then on the next pull I caught the fell rage for the first time ever. While we're on the subject of cocking things up, I learned another lesson this week, and that is that if you have your selfie camera bound, and what self-respecting person wouldn't, then don't bind it next to something that you might use on a boss fight, no matter how rarely, because, yeah. So just try things out, try something new, think to yourself, is there another way we can do this boss? Are there other things people could do to try and push DPS on a particular phase? Just those few seconds can sometimes mean the fight takes half a minute less, or something like that. Makes a big difference later on. But don't forget, any changing of the timings of your fight will inevitably change when you can use the ring and when you use other cooldowns, when defenses will be ready. So think about that in advance as well, otherwise you could end up in a bit of trouble. Hope that was useful. Any comments below if there's anything else you'd like to note down. Until then, I'll see you later.